Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Fox Sports Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight, it's the St. Louis Cardinals in first place in the National League Central against the Houston Astros. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. The Cardinals' magic number stands at 2 to clinch the NL Central. The Astros trying to snap a 9-game losing streak, JD.
When the Astros started that last road trip, we were thinking about maybe they could run down the Cubs for second place. Now, can they stave off the Cincinnati Reds and stay out of fifth place? They're tied with Cincinnati now. A Cub loss tonight, a Cardinal win, means the Redbirds claim the National League Central.
And the pitching matchup is 42-year-old John Smoltz against 24-year-old Bud Norris.
Yeah, this should be a lot of fun. Bud made his first Major League start against the Cardinals over there. Was very, very good. Our first look at John Smoltz in something other than an Atlanta Brave uniform. He struggled earlier this year with Boston, but with the Redbirds has pitched pretty well.
Smoltz trying to get his club to the postseason. It would be his 14th. And the Cardinal bats have been big with 15 hits in the first 2 games each in this series. So coming up, Bud Norris tries to do what he did to St. Louis, shut them out for 7 innings in St. Louis in his first Major League start. It's coming next. Another gray night in Houston. More rain would be welcome. There could be some out there somewhere tonight as these two teams play with, of course, the roof closed. They exchange the lineup cards at home plate. Dave Clark with the Astros card, looking for his first Major League win as the Astros manager. And it's Dave McKay with the card for the Cardinals. Mark Wegner is the home plate umpire who accepts those lineups. It's Rick Reed at first, Jeff Kellogg at second, Tim Timmons at third. Redbirds have won 4 of their last 5. They have started a 3-city road trip by winning the first 2 here, winning last night 11-2 with 15 hits after a 7-3 win Monday night with 15 hits. Cardinals are hitting on all cylinders right now. Carlos Lee and the Astros hoping to prevent a Cardinal clinching here tonight. Other than the Chicago White Sox clinching the World Series title in 2005, no visiting team has clinched against the Astros since Minute Maid Park opened in 2000. Tony La Russa, a veteran of postseason play, trying to push hard for win number 90 tonight with the Cardinals' magic number at 2. They have a 10-game lead on the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are in Milwaukee tonight, and that game will be starting at the same time as this one. So there will be a lot of scoreboard watching tonight, JD.
And if the Cardinals are clicking on all cylinders, the Astros are misfiring badly, having lost 9 in a row, scoring a grand total of 20 runs during this downward spiral. A few games left to get things turned around and finish the season on a positive note. And an opportunity for Bud Norris to continue his good work here in the month of September.
Cardinals come out with Skip Schumacher leading off at second base. It's Colby Rasmussen center field. Albert Pujols batting third at first base, followed by the cleanup man, left fielder Matt Holliday. Ryan Ludwig's in right field with Mark Tragosa playing third base. Yadier Molina bats seventh and does the catching. Julio Lugo is the shortstop with John Smoltz the starting pitcher.
Norris, 24 years of age, the DCL pitcher of the year. His last 3 outings with the Astros, all good ones. Beat the Phillies, beat the Pirates, no decision. At Milwaukee, allowed just 1 run in 5 innings. Threw 95 pitches in that game, punched out 8. And defensively, the Astros will feature Lee Bourn in Pence, left center and right, an infield of Blum, Tejada, Matsui, and Berkman. A familiar look. They are told behind the plate again tonight.
Bud Norris on August 2nd at St. Louis made his first major league start against Adam Wainwright. It was one of his 5 wins that you see, 5 wins, 3 losses, and a 5.07 ERA. But that night he was electric in St. Louis.
Yeah, the Astros had dropped the first 2 games of that series, and he came out and pitched 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball against the Redbirds. The Astros salvaged a win in that series. Probably his best start so far as a big leaguer. Came out of the gate 2 or 3 good ones and went into a little bit of a funk, but lately, as those 3 pitching lines indicated, he's been pretty darn good.
Skip Schumacher opened the series with a 3-hit game Monday night. He had a hit and an RBI last night. 306 for the season, 4 homers, 35 driven in for Schumacher. He looks at ball 1. Schumacher has scored 83 runs. He's made the conversion from outfield to second base, but in both of these games he's gone back to play the outfield at some point. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Last night he went out to left field in the final stages of the game, and he started in center and moved to second Monday night. Now it's 3 balls, no strikes. Schumacher was walked 47 times. We'll look it over carefully from Bud Norris. Norris became the first Astros rookie to win each of his first 3 starts in franchise history. That's a strike for Mark Wegner, and it's 3-1.
Falling behind a guy like Schumacher, you just got to start pumping fastballs towards the middle of the plate. Can't try to be too fine here. Don't want to walk the leadoff man. He did.
24th walk in the 50th inning for Bud Norris. He's averaged more than a strikeout per inning. And now with Schumacher aboard, it's Colby Rasmus batting. Rasmus looking down at Jose Oquendo, the third base coach. 258, 16 homers, 51 runs batted in for Rasmus.
Pitcher coming out of that bullpen, it's kind of like a golfer leaving the driving range going to the first tee. You can feel good on the range, but sometimes you get to that first tee and you hit a wayward drive. The same thing for a starting pitcher. When you take your warm-up pitches, you have to make sure you throw them with a purpose, not just to stay loose, but to actually try to make pitches and get into that game mentality.
Rasmus looked at strike 1. Garrett Jones is the rookie home run leader with 20 in the National League. Rasmus hit his 16th last night. He is second. It's 0-2 to the 23-year-old outfielder from Columbus, Georgia, a first-round pick in 2005. Rasmus, a good defensive player. And Norris makes the move to first on Schumacher. Redbirds have outscored their opponents by 98 runs this season. The Astros have been outscored by 103.
Whoa.
That one took off. 1-2.
And he tried to hasten his delivery there, tried to use a little bit of a quick pitch. In so doing, his body got way ahead of his arm. You don't want to get hurt on an 0-2 pitch. That's one way to do it.
You may have to check J.R. Tolle's left shoulder, the way he had to reach up high for that one. Albert Pujols on deck with Berkman holding Schumacher. The Cardinals are 9-5 against the Astros. Houston has won 3 and St. Louis 2 here at Minute Maid Park. Popped up. Third baseman Jeff Blum underneath. 1 out for Bud Norris. The Cardinals have the best record in the majors since July 24th. 37 wins and 17 losses. They're shooting for their 7th playoff berth since 2000. Albert Pujols has been a constant for them. 9 years of very productive work as a major leaguer. .330 average this season. 47 homers, 129 runs batted in.
It's both a great year, pretty much an average year for Albert.
This ball 1 to him. He's 4 for 8 in this series. Could be on his way to his 3rd MVP award.
Well, if he doesn't win it, then there's a conspiracy afoot.
Yeah.
Somebody's rigged the voting.
Leads the league in home runs. Tied for the lead in runs batted in. Leads in total bases and runs scored. Swung at that pitch. And it's one.
And that speaks to how good Bud's slider can be. It was very good last time against Milwaukee, and this is a good hard slider here. You rarely see Albert take a bad swing like that.
366 homers since 2000. The A-Rod has more. Popped up foul, but he also, with that high career batting average, is just a run producing machine. He leads the National League in both on base percentage and slugging percentage. There's a Pujols souvenir for that man. Pujols just passed Jim Bottomley last night for 3rd on the all-time St. Louis RBI list. He's driven in 19 this month. That's 3rd best in the National League. Fly ball to center. Michael Bourn. 2 outs. Schumacher back, and it's Matt Holliday coming up.
Well, Albert Pujols flying out here. We'll show you this at bat pitch by pitch. Fastball got away. And then that good hard slider that fooled Pujols. Then back to the fastball on the outside corner. And then one more time with the slider. So doing a good job staying out of the danger zone, working the edges. And even though he wasn't trying to throw that up and in fastball, not a bad idea to push back, work hard in a little bit early in this game, stand some of these hitters up.
Matt Holliday, with Schumacher being driven back by that throw, steps up with quite a season. 358 underway, 13 homers, 50 runs batted in, 414 against Houston this year. Norris throws strike 1 to Holliday. 29-year-old outfielder from Stillwater, Oklahoma. Holliday was traded by Oakland for Brett Wallace, who could have been the Cardinals' 3rd baseman of the future, and 2 other recent high draft picks. Pitcher Clayton Mortensen and outfielder Shane Peterson. All 3 going to Oakland in the deal. It was a good matchup, and John Mozeliak, the general manager, pointed out the deal could not have been made without the Cardinals having a well-stocked minor league system. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, you hate to give up your top prospects, but you know, when you're in go for it mode, it's well worth it.
Holliday is fit right in behind Pujols. It's a 2 ball, 1 strike count. And so Tony La Russa can switch his outfielders. He can move Rick Ankiel in on a given night, or Ryan Ludwig on another night. He can play Schumacher in the outfield if he wants. Give Rasmus a rest. Holliday has a 2-2 count. The Cardinals called up 3 players from the minor leagues after their Memphis team finished play last night in the AAA World Series. So La Russa finally has a few September call-ups. Cardinals have not needed to be reinforced with the run they've put together. They've gone 40-21 since the All-Star break. Three-two to Holiday. Ludwig on deck. 18 pitches so far for Norris. Last time out in 5 innings, he threw 96 pitches at Milwaukee in a no decision Friday. Runner goes, and there's a broken bad liner to left field. Schumacher can't get to third, though. Holiday with a single makes it first and second, 2 outs for Ludwig.
He was able to break Holiday's bat, but that slider stayed in the zone. The earlier ones were moving off the outside edge. They were swinging miss sliders. This one gets contact. Again, Holiday doesn't hit it all that well. He's out in front, catches it off the end of the bat, strong enough to line it into left field. But it's established early that good slider down and away to the right-handed hitters. And now the next move is to counter that with a good inside heater. Get in on their knuckles if you've got them looking away.
Ludwig is late on the good heater. He did not make the starting lineup last night. There's strike one to Ludwig. 269, 20 homers, 89 runs batted in. 324 against Houston for Ryan Ludwig this season. And the slider drops in for a strike as well. It's 0-2 to Ryan. Ludwig drove in 113 last year while belting 37 homers. Mark DeRosa is on deck. Cardinals and the Astros both have a day off tomorrow. Just off the plate, it's 1-2. Bud won his first 3 major league decisions, then lost the next 3, then won the next 2 and got a no decision last time out. That was his first no decision as a starter with the Astros this year. His initial appearance was in relief. Popped up foul and out of play. And getting that PCL Pitcher of the Year award, he had a 2.63 ERA.
Congratulations all the way around. That man a hot dog or something.
Yeah. Ludwig is down on strikes to end the Cardinal first with no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded. John Smoltz heads for the mound in just a moment. Clark in his third game as Astros manager. Michael Bourn in center field. Miguel Tejada shortstop. Lance Berkman first base. Carlos Lee left field. Jeff Blum third base. Hunter Pence in right field. It's Kazuo Matsui at second base. J.R. Tolles is the catcher for Bud Norris.
42-year-old John Smoltz for the St. Louis Cardinals tonight. His numbers with St. Louis are good. He's made 5 starts. He's 1-1 with a 3.21 ERA. Note the strikeout to walk ratio, 32 strikeouts, just 4 walks in 28 innings.
Michael Bourn bunts a foul. There's strike one. Michael at 291 has 3 homers. He's driven in 35 and he has scored 91 runs. 273 is his average against the Redbirds. Smoltz with the slider. Makes it no balls, 2 strikes. Smoltz has made some adjustments since he was released by the Red Sox.
Moved over to the first base side of the rubber. Try to get the ball in on left-handed hitters a little bit better.
He gets a strikeout on Bourn. Now with the Cardinals, he has 4 walks and 33 strikeouts now.
Fastball, slider, split finger pitch, curveball, and just a wealth of knowledge. Typically very good command of his pitches. Here's the profile on Smoltz: 213 career wins, 154 saves, 15 postseason wins. Cy Young in '96, 8 times an All-Star. It looked like he may have been toast when he was working for Boston earlier this year. Trying to come back from shoulder surgery, and an ERA up over 8 while working with Boston. That must need a little more time to come back, and the Cardinals have benefited from the extra rest and rehab.
It's 1-1 to Miguel Tejada. He's on a 10-game hitting streak. 303 average, 12 homers, 78 runs batted in. Yesterday he tied the Astros record for most hits by a shortstop in a season. Going 3 for 4, getting to 179 hits. He set the record last year. 1 hopper to third. DeRosa to Pujols, 2 outs for Smoltz. In Smoltz's career, he's won 16 against the Astros, losing 13 with a 2.98 ERA.
His very first start against the Astros, September 29th of 1988. Up against Mike Scott.
Lance Berkman, a 270 hitter with 23 homers, 74 runs batted in, has been held to a 219 average by Cardinal pitchers. Infield shifted around, and there's ball 1.
Everybody else that played in that game pretty much long since retired, as you would imagine.
Yeah.
Craig Biggio was a pinch runner in that game, though.
Berkman looks at it, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. When Smoltz beat the Astros in Atlanta on October 5th, 1991, to clinch a postseason berth for the Braves, he went the distance, beating Mark Portugal. 1-2. Kenny Lofton led off that day for Houston. Steve Finley batting second. Then it was Biggio, Bagwell, Luis Gonzalez, Caminetti, Cedeno, Candel, and Portugal. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That began quite a run of postseason years for the Atlanta Braves, a run that will reach 14 postseason years for John Smoltz if he makes it again this year. If he doesn't, we've got a big story on our hands. The real key is how will he be used? And there on a field at third base, umpire Tim Timmons. That's a strikeout for Smoltz for a 1-2-3 first to a disbelieving Lance Berkman. Scoreless game.
welcome back to Minute Maid Park. No score as we go to the top of the second, and time now to revisit our Twitter question from the pregame. And for that, we bring in the Twitter master, Greg Lucas. Greg, you want to refresh our memory as to what your question was and your responses?
The question was, is John Smoltz a Hall of Famer? Remember, he's not going to have a huge number of wins, not going to have a huge number of saves, but he's going to have good totals of both. And let's just put it this way, nobody thinks he won't be so far. Everybody has voted in favor of John. Some think he's doing better than he really is. One said, hey, a 300-win guy and a 300-save guy, it's a cinch. Well, he hasn't quite gone that far. He's got 213 wins and 154 saves. But it is unanimous right now that the Astros are watching a future Hall of Famer on the mound tonight.
All right, and your vote, does it count?
My vote, I'm going to count it, and it's still unanimous.
Unanimous, and I second that unanimousness. Guys?
All right, thanks, Patty.
I would third it.
All right. Mark DeRosa goes to a 1-2 count here, leading off the second inning. DeRosa with 10 Cardinal homers, 28 runs batted in, has a .243 average, but against the Astros, .366 with 6 bombs. He's driven in 12. It's 2-2. He's had a pair of 2 home run games here at Minute Maid Park this season. One of those coming Monday night, when he also had a 2-run double, driving in 4. Mark had 2 more hits, 2 more runs batted in last night. He's had a big series. Checks his swing there on appeal to Rick Reed. And it's 3-2 to Mark DeRosa.
I think he'll be a free agent.
Yeah.
Likes to hit here, obviously.
Okay. See where you're going with that. DeRosa strikes out. That's number 2 for Norris.
Nah, never mind.
Cardinals do want to talk with him, and he's agreeable to that. About returning for next year with them.
But it's been kind of a mixed bag in terms of the command of his pitches tonight, but certainly the action on that slider has been very good. And that's the thing, you know, when you get the plus stuff, you can get away with more mistakes. But obviously has an outstanding fastball.
Molina looks at it, and it's strike 1.
A four-seamer, that little hop as it gets into the hitting zone. And a lot of pop-ups, lazy fly balls with that heater.
6 homers, 51 driven in for Molina. Sat out game 1 of this series. Well, Jason LaRue did the catching. Last night hit a 2-run homer, also had a double. Moved to first base late in the game. No balls, 2 strikes. Cardinals' next series will be at Colorado, then they'll wind up at Cincinnati. They have 2 off days coming on this road trip. It's 1-2 with Julio Lugo on deck. Dodgers lead 2-0 at Washington. They're in the top of the 6th inning. For Chad Billingsley has a no-hitter through 5 against Ross Detweiler tonight.
There's Detweiler.
Into center field. Molina's on with hit number 2 for the Redbirds. Lugo will follow. Julio saying in the Cardinal clubhouse before the game tonight that this Cardinal clubhouse is the best he's been a part of as a major leaguer since he was with Houston in the Jeff Bagwell Moises Alou clubhouse. 286, 2 homers, 12 runs batted in. Cardinals using him quite a bit. Brendan Ryan a little banged up with a finger problem right now. Strike 1 to Lugo, but Ryan has played a spectacular brand of shortstop. Lugo has given the Cardinals depth, not only at short but also at second base, and he can play other positions. No balls, 2 strikes with John Smoltz on deck. Real opportunity here for Bud Norris to prevent the Cardinals from doing what they would like to do. Fly ball to center. Michael Bourn backing. 2 outs.
Bud is a proud owner of a Duru. Duru is it's a stuffed you ever seen this Hello Kitty thing?
Yes.
This toy. Well, Troy Hawkins went to one of those Build-A-Bear places, and he had all these bears and stuffed animals made for all the rookies, and they have to carry them with them like everywhere they go for the next 2 weeks.
Oh. Okay.
And they all have names, and they have names for like they call Dewey the pitching guru. So Bud's is named Guru, and it was actually a recorded voice message in Bud's Bear.
Oh.
Yep.
Have you heard it?
I have.
Is it repeatable?
It's an apology. It's an apology to Dewey.
Oh,
for being a bad guy or something to that effect. For giving him a hard time.
That's good stuff.
I can't repeat it verbatim.
Okay. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Smoltz. And Smoltz really looked finished to many in that final game he pitched for the Boston Red Sox. He was leaving pitches right out in the middle of the plate, and they were getting whacked. Totally different John Smoltz here tonight. Joined the Cardinals in August after being released. It's 2-2. He went home and had a long session. Just threw for about an hour, according to the story, and some of his friends and family were there watching. And at one point, it was going through his mind that he might not be able to get it back, but then something clicked in for him. He made a little mechanical change with his feet. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes, and now it appears he has plenty left at age 42.
He missed one turn with some shoulder inflammation, took a cortisone shot, and I guess that's the big question is how well does he hold up? Depending on how they use him, if he continues to get starts every 5th day going into the postseason, or if they move him to the bullpen. When you get to that age and you've had the injury problem that he had last year, coming off the shoulder surgery at the age of 42, you just never know how well he's going to hold up physically.
Smoltz is putting up a battle here. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Schumacher on deck. Molina will take off on the next pitch. Berkman playing behind him. Smoltz looks at ball 4. And now 2 men on for Schumacher after the second walk of the night for Norris.
We talked about Bud in the first inning and how his stuff is so good he can get away with subpar command, but that only lasts so long, and that's the danger. As you turn the lineup over and these guys get a second look, you hope that you start to kind of find your release point, gain some consistency, and start to make better pitches.
Schumacher drew a walk leading off the game.
Stuff will take you so far, but you have to command it.
And there's strike 1. Detroit leads 9-1 at Cleveland in the top of the 5th inning. Miguel Cabrera hit his 31st home run for the Tigers. Dave Clark played for Jim Leyland. There's a scramble by J.R. Tolles. The runners hold, and Dave Clark counts Jim Leyland as the best manager he's had as a player. Said he just really communicated well, and each player knew where he stood constantly with Jim Leyland. Talked to all the guys from the 25th man up to the star player in the team. They would let the players know in no uncertain terms sometimes where they stood. Ground ball. Tejada gets the force play to Matsui. On Smoltz, it's no runs, a hit, 2 men stranded, no score. Nothing here. John Smoltz warming up. Our Texas Ford dealers takes you back to 1988, the year that John Smoltz began his illustrious career. Here are some events from that year. Rain Man. You remember Yo MTV rap.
Wapner at 4 o'clock. How about a gallon of gas, 91 cents. Movie tickets, $3.50. George Bush Sr. won the election in '88. Dave Clark, an outfielder for the Cleveland Indians. Tony La Russa managed the American League pennant-winning Oakland A's. 104 wins that year for the A's.
Now John Smoltz, 213 major league wins, faces Carlos Lee. And there's strike one to Carlos. 302, 26 homers, 96 runs batted in for Lee. He has good numbers against the Redbirds this year. He's hit safely in 13 of his last 14 games. No balls, 2 strikes for Smoltz, who was signed by Detroit in 1985 as a free agent, traded to Atlanta in 1987 for Doyle Alexander. Last year he made only 5 starts and 1 relief appearance for the Braves. And they talked about bringing him back, couldn't get together on a deal. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's 2-2.
Smoltz is a good guy for a young pitcher to watch. Talk about command and using both sides of the plate. This guy will do it.
Smoltz makes a play. Tosses out Lee. He's retired 4 in a row to open this game. Jeff Plum brings a left-handed bat to the plate. Left-handers hitting .218 against Smoltz as a Cardinal compared to right-handed hitters .260. Plummer .255 with 10 homers, has driven in 48. It's 5 homers shy of 100 for his career. Smoltz moves him back. Plummer needs 1 home run to tie Enos Cabell for 7th place on the Astros all-time home run list by a third baseman with 45. Hunter Pence on deck. Smoltz puts it on the corner and it's 1-1.
Cardinals employ a strong shift in the infield for Blum. That's what they do with Berkman. We go over towards second base. A lot of room between third and short. Jeff, a strong pull hitter. If he hits the ball on the ground to the left side, it's by accident. Maybe even way out in front of the changeup and hit it off the end of the bat.
This is Smoltz's first outing against the Astros since October of '06. He eliminated the Astros from the race. Schumacher over Pujols, 2 outs. That was the year the Cardinals had lost 7 straight, and the Astros found that they did have a chance there in the final days, but Smoltz won that game, beating Chris Sampson in Atlanta. Hunter Pence, .286 with 24 homers, has driven in 69. Smoltz is the oldest starting pitcher for the Cardinals at age 42 since Jim Cox. He was 43 when he started for them in '82. St. Louis has had just 4 starting pitchers 42 or older. Grover Alexander, Dazzy Vance, Jesse Haynes, and Jim Cobb.
Right, that's probably above average. Not many guys are still flipping it up there at the age of 42.
No.
Pretty remarkable what Smoltz has done.
Hunter hitting .220 against the Redbirds. It's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Hunter's 1 for 8 in this series. Cardinal pitching very good. The Astros batting averages have taken a beating against the St. Louis Hurlers this year. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's 0-0 in the last of the third. Chicago has Jeff Samardzija making the start, and Chris Narveson is on the hill for Milwaukee. Little roller goes up the line. Smoltz coming over. It's a foul ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Smoltz wouldn't have been able to get him if that ball had been fair, would he?
You know, I don't believe so.
He might have wanted to just brush it while it was foul.
He tried to make a sweep tag. You know, he was trying to make a play on it. He didn't want to throw any more pitches. You know, he's actually fortunate that he got the ball fouled. Yeah. There's no way he's going to get Hunter there. Smoltz, a good athlete, an outstanding golfer. He was also an all-state basketball player in high school.
And that's strike 3. He has needed only 25 pitches to go through the first 6 batters. 3 of them have struck out, and it's 0-0.
Welcome back. Top of the third, no score. And why don't you come on out here to Minute Maid Park this Friday at 7:05 as the Astros take on the Reds in the final weekend of the season. Arrive early as the first 10,000 fans will receive an Astros cap collectible courtesy of AT&T. This cap collectible is the final piece in a 4-piece set. And all fans will receive a 2010 ticket certificate from the Houston Astros. Be sure to stick around after the game for Friday Night Fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Corporation, weather permitting. For more information, just visit Astros.com, guys.
Thanks, Patty. Friday night, that's Brian Moeller and Matt Maloney, the lefty from Cincinnati. Little tap goes foul for Colby Rasmus. And the count is 0-2 for Bud Norris here, with Rasmus to be followed by Pujols and Holiday in the Cardinal third.
The Reds have a 4-1 lead over the Pirates tonight in the 4th inning in Pittsburgh. Astros battling the Reds for 4th place.
Yeah. 1-2. They're tied right now with records of 70 and 81. 18.5 behind the Redbirds. Good slider for Bud. He strikes out Rasmus, and that's number 3.
That slider's been his best pitch tonight, and he's shown the ability to bury it on left-handed hitters down towards that back foot. That's a good one.
Pujols hit a fly ball to center in the first inning. Ball 1. Cardinals have played well on the road. They're 43 and 31 away from Busch Stadium. Line to right field. Hunter Pence coming over to his left. Pujols on with a sharp single, hit number 3 for the Cardinals.
Trying to go down and away with a fastball. Not a bad pitch. Just a good hitter.
He is a good hitter. Almost as if he anticipated after that pitch inside that the next one would be away, and he was right on it. Matt Holliday and a broken bat. Line drive single to left field. This one in the air to left center. A high ride. Michael Bourn is back and on the warning track. Takes it in. 2 outs.
For the most part, the Cardinal hitters can go up there looking for something hard. I mean, it's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and a hard slider. Button will throw the occasional changeup to a left-handed hitter. And his changeup is a hard changeup. So that would kind of be the, I think the next piece of the puzzle for Bud, to come up with something, whether it's a slow curveball he can flip up there to right-handed hitters, or find some more consistency with a straight change or a split finger pitch to get the hitters off the hard stuff.
Strike to Ludwig. He struck out in the first inning. That's a good tilt on that slider. Ludwig, the player of the month in the National League for July, hitting .340. Takes that one, and it's a 1-1 count. The Reds have gotten some injured players back. Willie Taveras is back now from his injury. Ramon Hernandez, the catcher. Homer Bailey's on the hill for them in Pittsburgh with that 5-1 lead in the 5th inning against Kevin Hart. 1-2 to Ludwig. The Astros have made this their 9th straight winning season at Minute Maid Park, with a record of 42-35. This homestand off to a rugged start, and they have been outscored 50-20 during their 9-game losing streak. Rolled over, and third baseman Blum gets to it on the run. Throw to Buckman, safe at first. Infield hit for Ludwig on a slowly bouncing ball near third base.
A bit of misfortune here for Bud. Makes a good pitch, gets a slow roller, and Ludwig able to just beat it down there at first base. Plummer was playing deep, had to come a long way to get it.
Mark DeRosa gets a chance with 2 on and 2 outs. He struck out on a full count offering in the 2nd. That's on the edge for strike 1 to DeRosa, former college quarterback. He's probably an avid football viewer this time of year. Mark, 34 years old now. He led the Penn Quakers to a conference title as a sophomore. Started at Penn for 2 years. Penn won his first 12 starts.
Did they win the Ivy League crown while he was there?
I don't know. It looks like they did when he was a sophomore. No balls, 2 strikes. When Mark left Atlanta, he signed as a free agent with the Cubs to a 3-year deal. But then the Cubs traded him this January for 3 prospects, all pitchers. And so he made his way back to the National League after the Indians unloaded him. Takes that one, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. A really versatile type player, and the Cardinals have several players who can move around and play different positions. He's been a good run producer. He drove in 87 last year for Chicago. It's 2-2 now. The Yankees clinched the postseason berth last night. They didn't have to win their game, but they did beat the Angels after they'd officially clinched it, and Texas lost. That's a close one. 3-2. 64 pitches for Bud Norris. It'll be 14 playoff appearances in the last 15 years for the Yankees now. 5.5 game lead over the Angels for a home field advantage throughout the American League playoffs. Runners will go on 3-2 with 2 outs. And it's bounced to shortstop. Tejada with a good jump. Charging. Makes a low throw, and Berkman is able to come up with it at first. Tejada took some extra time, but Berkman made the play on the other end. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. And Lance corrals the low throw to save the hits. Coming up later in our Dodge Grab Live feature, Brian Moeller tells us about his favorite movie. Stay tuned for that. And Brian will be pitching here Friday night against Cincinnati and lefty Matt Maloney. The Astros come up with Matsui, Tolles, and Norris due to bat against Smoltz in the home 3rd inning of a 0-0 game.
How about a base runner?
Yeah, that sounds like a brilliant idea. There's ball 1. Matsui, 251, 7 homers, 41 runs batted in. As well 0 for 2 in this series. Smoltz evens the count at 1-1. Matsui has a 301 on base average. DeRosa's in tied at 3rd. Skips rope on that Smoltz offering, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, Smoltz might want to try something other than what he has done in the past, because Matsui is a .458 career hitter against him. He's gone 11 for 24 against John. Two and 2.
I wonder what his secret is.
It'll be interesting to know.
Eric Estrada?
Close.
Perfect example of the inequities of life. A hair comparison there.
Line drive left field, headed for the corner. Holiday over. That bounces and kicks over toward the wall. It's going to be a leadoff double for Matsui. There's your base runner. Matsui gets his 20th 2-base hit.
He had to put out a brochure. How I hit John Smoltz by Kazuo Matsui. Could sell it to everybody in the league. This is a 2-seam fastball up, trying to run it down and away, leaves it up. And Matsui just pings it into the left field corner.
Now J.R. Tolles, after the 20th double for Matsui, will try to advance him. He's hitting 100 with 1 RBI. And there's strike 1. Dave Clark was talking about his strategies as a manager. Does he like to sacrifice bunt early in a game? He said it depends on the other team's pitcher and the batter.
Situation here where JR should be thinking about trying to drive this run in, because you got the pitcher coming up on deck. So you got 2 chances, 2 in your mind. You think I got 2 real chances to drive that runner in. You don't want to be sacrificing anything. Well, Bud can handle the bat a little bit.
Yeah.
Not a Matic out.
JR starting for the 5th time in the last 7 games at catcher. Little number back to Smoltz. Quickly turned and checked the runner Matsui and took care of out number 1.
And took a good long look at Matsui, realizing he had plenty of time with that comebacker to get tolls at first base. Instead of just a token look and a throw, he made sure he got Matsui headed back to the base.
Yeah, he was really engaged in that play. Like an infielder with his quickness. Bud Norris has 2 hits and 14 at bats, a 143 hitter. Michael Bourne's on deck.
You know he wants to call the boys back home and say, yeah, I got to knock off John Smoltz. What's he doing here?
He was around the bunt, taking ball 1.
Don't want a bunt here, Bud.
Maybe he misread the sign from Al Pedrique.
He was just taking a pitch.
Al took over as the third base coach. Dave Clark moved in to become the manager. The bunt is a good one, and he's going to reach base. Now there's the bonus. Not only does he advance Matsui to third, but he's on first. First and third, 1 out now.
The bunting for a sacrifice there, just a bad play. He ends up getting a base hit out of it. And maybe that's what I was thinking of, but he squares early. So I'm going to chalk this one up to luck more than anything. I cannot grasp why you would sacrifice there with 1 out and a man on second base.
JD, he's such a good bunter that he can telegraph it.
Yeah. And again, if Smoltz lets that one go, it's going to be foul. And if he picks it up, he probably doesn't have a play. He probably should have left that one alone.
Michael Bourn has this opportunity. First and third, 1 out. He struck out in the first.
I'm open to suggestions. If somebody can convince me the merits of the runner on second, 1 out sacrifice bunt, I'm all ears.
Well, as you were indicating the other night, maybe that's so they can score on a 2 out sacrifice fly.
That's right.
It's a 2-0 count. Dave Clark remembers making the last out. He was with the Pirates when the Phillies clinched in '93. 2-0 to Bourn, a .367 hitter with runners in scoring position. He knows the Houston Cougars have a big football game against Texas Tech coming up Saturday night. He says they are ready. Now Pujols and Smoltz talk it over. Smoltz from Warren, Michigan. Missed 2000, recovering from Tommy John surgery. One backs away.
Went ahead in the count. Michael, a .476 hitter.
Michael has not faced Smoltz in his career until tonight. And it's 2-1. Smoltz in '96 when he won the Cy Young was 24-8. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Buckling his knees like he didn't like that call, but it looked like a real good pitch. Appeared to be high enough, looked like it was on the plate.
Now it's a full count. Smoltz sailed through the first 2 innings. He was under some pressure here in a scoreless game. Runners at first and third, 1 out, and a 3-2 coming. Tejada on deck, 40 pitches into the game. Fouls it back. Smoltz making his first career start at Minute Maid Park. Has pitched 5 times here in relief and gotten 5 saves. One of only 6 pitchers to have 3 straight 40 save years. League pitcher to win over 200 and save 150 or more. Bourn strikes out. What a big pitch for Smoltz. Now Miguel Tejada bats. 4 strikeouts.
It's swinging and missing a lot lately. This 3-2 slider starts on the plate and then runs down and in.
Tejada will try for the 2-out RBI hit. Grounded out to third in the first inning. Ball 1 to Miggy. Lance Berkman on deck. Tejada tied for the doubles lead with Pablo Sandoval of the Giants with 43. He was asked about that on the postgame show last night, so that was not a particular goal of his. He did stress playing hard for the fans who have come out to see the Astros. Whoa. Yeah, he fell down. 1-1.
Get yourself a spotlight, Miggy.
Got everything into that swing.
Sharpen those spikes a little bit.
It's a pretty rough foul ball. Phillies lead the Marlins 4-3, top of the 7th inning. Cole Hamels. 1-1 to Miggy. That one goes foul. Phillies really banged up right now, JD.
What's going on?
Well, they have Carlos Ruiz, who's bothered by a sprained left wrist. Pedro Martinez has a stiff neck. Red Myers, a shoulder problem. Chan-Ho Park, a hamstring injury. 2 lefty relievers who would figure to be on the postseason roster if they're healthy. Scott Air with an elbow difficulty with bone chips. J.C. Romero, a forearm problem. Starter Jay Happ, an oblique injury. Other than that, they're good.
As long as you don't say Utley, Howard, Rollins.
No, they're fine.
Hamels still in pretty good shape. Romero hasn't been there all year, has he?
He was suspended and then came back and really hasn't been a big part of their team. Howard hit number 42 tonight, by the way.
Ruiz, he's a good looking catcher. I'd be a little concerned about him. X-rays were negative on Ruiz. Expect to have him back in 13 days.
2-2. Alberto Arias had surgery on his right knee. Milwaukee leads 2-0 over the Cubs in the top of the 5th inning. Cardinals will find that to be of interest to them. That game running slightly ahead of this one. Sometimes teams have to wait around after their game to find out about another game before they celebrate. A shot into right field will make it 1-0 Houston. RBI single Tejada. He comes up with a big 2-out 2-strike delivery, giving him an 11-game hitting streak. That's RBI number 79.
Try to get him to chase the previous breaking pitch. Miggy didn't bite, so Smoltz throws this one in the zone, and Miggy all over it. You're asking for trouble if you leave a breaking pitch in the strike zone to Miguel Tejada.
Now 1-0, and Lance Berkman would like to do more damage. Struck out in the first. He is 5 for 9 in his career against Smoltz. That's right to second base. Skip Schumacher over to Albert Pujols. Tejada has now set the club record for hits in a season by an Astros shortstop. He's given the Astros the lead 1-0. inside Minute Maid Park. The Astros have a 1-0 lead after 3. They had a double by Matsui, a bunt single by Norris, and a 2-out 2-strike RBI hit. And the applause from JD is probably for Miguel Tejada breaking his own Astros record. It's by a shortstop.
No, it's for having a 1-0 lead.
Okay.
But we'll applaud that too. Maybe establishing that record last year.
Put in 2 very good seasons here as the Astros shortstop. Yadier Molina leads it off in the 4th inning. He singled to center in the 2nd. Ball 1. Dave Duncan was talking last night before the game about the excellent Cardinal pitching staffs and about the catchers who have been so good during his tenure there, about Molina, Mike Matheny, and the others. 2 balls, no strikes, and he talked about Molina being a good hitter. He said that's really a bonus, but he is a top-notch defensive player as well. And he talked about Terry Steinbach in Oakland when he was there too. 2 balls and a strike. But Dave, the longest pitching coach in Major League Baseball history. Upstairs, and it's 3 balls and a strike. 30th year.
Catcher's first pitcher coach job came with Cleveland, team he played for. He played with Tony La Russa in the minor leagues with Oakland. That's where they first got together, and then he joined Tony's staff. Tony took over. Tony's first managerial job with the Chicago White Sox in 1979.
Molina gets one into right field for a single. He's 2 for 2 in the game. Cardinals have a hit in every inning. That's number 5 for them.
15 hits each of the first 2 games, and a lot of this too. Just willing to shoot the ball the other way. Not getting too gritty, not loading up, trying to hit it 500 feet. Solid at bats.
Julio Lugo hit the fly ball to center field in the 2nd inning. This is La Russa's 14th year as a Cardinal skipper. Ball 1. He's the all-time leader in managerial victories by St. Louis, 1,230. He's led the Redbirds to 7 division titles, 2 National League pennants, and a World Series title in 06. 2 balls, no strikes. Toll's out to talk with Norris. They worked together at Round Rock this year. Let's go with some Aflac trivia with Dewey Robinson coming out.
Aflac!
John Smoltz on deck. Smoltz made his debut in '88. Who were that year's Cy Young winners?
Well, I got the NL.
Hershiser?
Yep.
Okay. How about the AL?
Well,
Dave Stewart?
Stewart, Bobby Welch, Dennis Eckersley all come to mind.
Yeah, they do. Now Lugo's looking out, getting a 2-0 pitch here in a moment. And he hits it in the air to left field. Carlos Lee backing. Now back in a little bit. One down.
1988, that's the year the Dodgers beat the heavily favored Athletics in the World Series. For Gibson hit that home run off of Eck. Can't believe what I just saw.
You got it. Smoltz went down toward the third base coach, Jose Oquendo. He walked in the 2nd inning. He's around a bunt. But now he's not. Now he is. And he takes ball 1.
Well, Smoltz a pretty good hitter. Yeah, he doesn't want to tip his hand too early. You know, the situation calls for a bunt, but they may roll the dice with one out. Try to play a little hit and run. Probably not. Maybe.
Yeah, it's quite a guessing game here. 2 balls, no strikes. And the Cubs-Milwaukee game, as we saw, it's 2-0 Milwaukee in Milwaukee against Chicago. Bottom of the 5th inning now. Prince Fielder hit his 42nd home run. That was a 2-run shot off Jeff Samardzija. So he takes over the RBI lead. Bunted, Lance Berkman throws to second and gets a force on Molina. Relay to first. Double play. As Tejada returns it to Matsui covering. And that is very decisive by Berkman to make that long throw and start a 3-6-4 double play. By John Smoltz, who were the Cy Young Award winners in 1988 when he made his debut. It was Frank Viola and Oral Hershiser. Wrong again.
Viola, Minnesota Twins. That's right, because the next year, Viola was a Met.
Yeah, you're right.
And that was the first ever in '89, and the first ever matchup between defending Cy Young Award winners. And Hershiser and Viola hooked up.
Okay. Well, here's a guy, one of 53 pitchers who have pitched in 20 major league seasons. And entering this year, Tom Glavine at 22, along with Jamie Moyer, Randy Johnson 21. They're the only guys with more than Smoltz's 20 seasons. Smoltz, the all-time playoff leader in wins with 15. One more than Glavine and Andy Pettitte.
And Nolan pitched, what, 27 seasons?
Yeah. This is active guys coming in this year. Okay. Strike one to Lee. 53 guys have appeared in 20 seasons. Pretty select company for all the years of Major League Baseball. Line shot center field. Carlos Lee hit it well.
Is Pud Galvin on that list?
He should be.
But old Hoss Radbourn.
He should be there too. We don't have the complete list. But yeah, these guys were Iron Men.
Speaking of Iron Men, Bobby Cox has one more year in him. Announced today that he will return to manage the Braves next season, and then will retire and assume a role as a consultant for the Braves. 5-year consulting agreement after next season for Coxie.
Okay. Jeff Blum's a batter. Have you ever heard of a manager of a major league team being on that team's board of directors?
I have not.
He is. He's on the Braves board of directors.
Well, Connie Mack was kind of a manager-owner kind of guy.
Yeah.
50 years Connie Mack managed the Philadelphia club, 1901 to 1950. That's a pretty good run.
Yeah. He couldn't fire himself. Wouldn't have felt good about it. Blummer pulls that one foul and into the seats for a 1-1 count. Let's see what else is going on. Mark Reynolds is tired of being asked about this strikeout thing. He said, so what? And the Lasorda portrait has been unveiled.
Yeah, Mark ought to just run with it with good humor.
Yeah, he could do that.
He's having a nice year. He's got 40-some home runs.
Very good. And, you know, one of the few years with the 40 homers and 25 steals by a third baseman. So he could just, and, you know, he's fine with that, but just getting tired of all the strikeout talk and questions.
He's a record breaker. He needs to embrace it.
Well, and Blum went around there, 1 and 2. And he keeps saying it's an out. Well, yeah, but if there's a runner at third and 1 out, you kind of like to have some contact there. But, you know, he's still a very good player.
If you were to put together a National League end of the season all-star team, he's probably your third baseman.
Good point. Still 1 and 2, Jeff Blum. Jeff is 6 for 13 with a homer against John Smoltz in his career.
Congratulations.
From what we're hearing, those folks don't really care about this right now, but in the next series against the Reds, Tommy Manzella might get a couple of starts. Bouncer Pujols' way. He spins, gets it to Lugo. Lugo back to Pujols, safe at first. Pujols looking at the first base umpire, Rick Reed, after that call. Now he walks over.
Albert saying he couldn't have stepped on the base because he stepped on my foot. Nice play to start. Potential double play. Blum hustling down the line, beats the relay.
Here's the difference, as you pointed out on that bunt by Smoltz. Those guys weren't running hard, and those two guys were.
Carlos kind of peeked over his shoulder and saw the throw coming, so peeled off. Actually, he should have stayed in the baseline and tried to get hit in the back with that throw. I guess that's the difference when you're 18 and a half games out in September. I'm not taking one for the club here.
Yeah. Strike to Hunter Pence. He struck out looking in the second on a fastball. But there were sliders earlier. It's 1 ball, 1 strike here. But Smoltz, that slider is so tough for him against a right-handed batter. Active career leaders, Johnson #1, Pedro, and then John Smoltz in strikeouts. 1 and 2.
Now, the other thing that's made John Smoltz so good and so durable over the years is the mechanics. His delivery is just spot on. Very smooth. Stays tall on that back leg.
It's 2 and 2. Matsui's on deck. Cardinals have 5 hits to the Astros 4.
Tell you what, Smoltz wants no part of Matsui.
And then Hunter's going to get a fastball right here.
Crouching dragon.
No.
This is crouching tiger.
Fouled off the slider, still 2 balls, 2 strikes. But that is a tough guessing game for a right-handed batter against this man who's thrown 61 pitches. It works for a strikeout. That's number 5 for Smoltz.
Well, this week, Fox NFL Sunday returns as Drew Brees and the Saints head to Buffalo to take on T.O. and the Bills. Coverage begins Sunday with America's #1 pregame show at 11 a.m. Central in high definition. Guys?
Thanks, Patty. Big weekend coming up. Right here, everybody will be dry no matter what the weather is at Minute Maid Park as the Reds and Astros play. Kazuo Matsui doubled to the left field corner and came around to score. Now he smacks one foul. Strike 1. The guy who's really a John Smoltz nemesis. 12 for 25 against Smoltz. One and one. Now Smoltz did that the first time up, made him move his feet. Pitch down and in, and certainly a pitcher would have to think about that if a guy's been hitting him that hard over the years. But Matsui got that pitch, rifled it to left later. And this one goes over shortstop to left center. Matt Holliday on the run for the third out. And in the fourth, it's no runs a hit and a man stranded. It's 1-0 Astros. Single in the third by Miguel Tejada has provided the only run. This date in Astros history is brought to you by MD Anderson Cancer Center. In 1986, Jim Deshaies sets a modern major league mark by striking out the first 8 Dodgers en route to a 4-0 shutout. Tommy Lasorda tries to spoil the fun by sending up pinch hitter Larry C. instead of pitcher Dennis Powell for the 9th out. C pops up and Deshaies finishes with a 2-hitter and 10 strikeouts. And we had Tommy on the air with us.
Ran out of gas
2 years ago, and he did.
I had 8 in a row and finished with 10.
Well, 4-0 shutout.
I was on a pace to get 27.
Well, that's true. That's true, but few maintain that pace, JD. That was pretty good, a 4-0 shutout. And Tommy wouldn't speak to that move, the pinch hit, trailing in the third inning. Scored what, 2-0 at the time?
Yeah.
That's right. So we'll never ever find out the answer. 1 ball, 1 strike to Skip Schumacher.
Yeah, and that's and Nolan came out the next night, won 8 one-hit innings. And 8 innings of 1-hit ball, struck out 14, and the next day Scotty threw the no-hitter to clinch the division.
Wow. What a September. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a special group of 40 principals somewhere in that crowd tonight. They won the Principal of the Year award for their respective school districts. They're being honored. Up the middle, Matsui gets to it, throws to first. Very good play for out number 1.
Caswell doubled in the third, scored the run. Nice play there. He's one of our leading candidates for player of the game. But Norris got in on Schumacher there. The ball had a little funky spin on it.
It did. Those softly hit balls are difficult plays. The guy really has to cover a lot of territory to come in and then make that throw across his body. Colby Rasmus is 0 for 2. He smacks one to center. Michael Bourn heading back, turning. 2 outs. He cruised to make that play.
And he shaded a step or two towards left center. Had a real good angle on this ball. See, if he's playing straight away, that's a tougher chance because it's right over his head. But he had a good look at it initially, had a little bit of an angle where he could get a good read.
He had a tough play last night in the ninth inning on a triple by Rick Ankiel. Got turned a couple of different ways. Albert Pujols is 1 for 2. And that's ball 1 to him. Bud has started him out inside with the first pitch of every sequence so far. Let's see if he comes back and doubles up. And then each time after that, he's gone outside.
I think a couple of times he's left it inside. He wasn't trying to go in there. He's thrown that slider and he tries to overthrow it, and he just kind of backs up on him. Stays on the inner half or off the plate inside.
There's a good inside pitch. He cracked his bat. Tejada throws him out. And in the 5th inning, it goes quickly for Bud Norris with the Astros leading the Redbirds 1-0.
Astros up by 1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. And this Saturday, the Astros take on the Reds at 6:05 p.m. in the final weekend of the regular season. Make sure you stick around after the game, as one lucky fan will take home a brand new 2010 Chevy Traverse valued at over $39,000. Make sure you get your tickets today so you can have a chance to drive home in a new car. For tickets, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS today.
You would look good in that car, Patty.
Are you sort of insinuating I might not look good in the car I already have?
No, but you'd look good in that car or a lot of cars. But
just better. We'll just go with I look better.
Right. See the USA, the new Chevrolet.
I'm there. You know what? If I win the car, I would sing.
J.R. Tolles tried to bunt. Now there's a strike, and it's 0-2. And Patty probably is too young to remember Dinah Shore, but that was her song. She sang it so well. J.R. had that 8 RBI game at St. Louis in September of 07. Patty, you don't remember Dinah Shore, do you?
Who's that?
Okay, good. We're on the same path here. We can talk about that for a long time. 1 ball and 2 strikes for John Smoltz.
Diana Ross.
Okay.
I can go back that far.
Kind of work our way back there. A little roller out to second. Schumacher on to first. 1 out. And it's Bud Norris next. Bud bunted, and it stayed just fair inside the third base line, and it went for a hit. Matsui was at second with 1 out in the 3rd inning. So it looked like a sacrifice bunt attempt, but it proved to be a single. And then 1st and 3rd, Bourn struck out, but Tejada on a 2-2 pitch singled in the only run of the game.
You can't get a sacrifice bunt when you bunt a guy to 3rd with 1 out, can you?
No. Probably not.
I don't think so. you bunt him from second to third, and that's the first out, it's a sacrifice. But if it's the second out,
yeah,
you get credit for a sacrifice.
Okay, we'll have to check on that. Ludwig is calling. 2 down. And now Michael Bourn. And Michael has been in a rough patch. He was 0 for 16 until he got hits in the 5th and 8th innings last night. Now a couple of strikeouts. But he hasn't seen Smoltz in his career until tonight. Michael had a very rough game Sunday in Milwaukee. 4 strikeouts and 4 at-bats. Fastball at 91 is up for ball 1. Braves lead the Mets at Citi Field 5-2 in the top of the 7th inning. Tim Hudson pitching. Pelfrey started for New York. It's 1-1. Smoltz, a big part of that great Braves era. Even Glavine, several other pitchers in there during that period of time. Smoltz goes up to snag it and flips to first to get Bourn. And he's retired 6 in a row now to keep the score 1-0 Astros after 5. Sixth inning, right after what's on tap with the Astros. That's brought to you by Bud Light. It's the final home series for the Astros. Friday through Sunday, the Cincinnati Reds are here. Those two teams tied right now for 4th place. And that'll be the matchup starting Friday night with Cincinnati in town. Now back to Wednesday night, and Matt Holliday taking strike 1 from Bud Norris. Holliday's 1 for 2. Cardinals will be occupied at Coors Field this weekend against the hard-charging Rockies, seemingly 2 playoff-bound teams. Matt Holliday's former club awaiting his arrival. 1 ball, 1 strike. He puts it in the air foul, and it's 1-2 for Holliday.
Boots has pulled out the rule book. We're talking about that bunt play that Bud had earlier. It's a score sacrifice bunt when before 2 are out, the batter advances 1 or more runners with the bunt and is put out at first base, or would have been put out except for fielding error. Of course, in this instance, Bud got a base hit. But had he been thrown out at first, he would have been credited with the sacrifice by advancing that man to third base, which I think is a silly rule, but it was the rule.
Foul away, 1-2.
Unless in the scorer's judgment, the batter is bunting for a base hit.
Okay.
But clearly there, he was squaring around early as if to sacrifice.
Last 4 starts have gone very well for Bud Norris. And that does include this game. That one was in on Holliday's hands.
His success rate in terms of hitting his spot is not very high tonight. But again, he's got such good stuff. He's been able to get away with it. And sometimes you kind of learn from that as a pitcher. You learn, you know what, these guys aren't all Babe Ruth. I can make mistakes and survive.
Cap is short. Tejada bare hands, throws to Berkman and gets him. Bourn with the Omar Vizquel approach.
I don't think he had to.
No.
But he opted to. And as long as you make the play, it's all that counts.
Got him. One down, and it's Ryan Ludwig. He topped a ball to third base and beat it out for an infield hit in the third after striking out in the first inning. Fouls that one for strike one. It's the Brewers 3, the Cubs 1. They're in the bottom of the 6th at Milwaukee. Got Samardzija starting and hitting a home run for Chicago.
And he caught a couple touchdown passes, too.
He caught a bunch at Notre Dame, that's for sure. Ludwig did not have a good swing. It snowballs 2 strikes for Bud Norris.
Ludwig hasn't had a good swing yet tonight. He's got that infield hit, but he's looked lost at home plate. Struck out his first time swinging at a chin-high slider.
It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ludwig, an aggressive hitter. He doesn't walk a whole lot. Struck out 146 times last year. But he had good numbers. Bounces it up the middle. Tejada was far to his right. He spins and throws, but will not get him. Had too much ground to cover from where he was playing, and Ludwig has his second infield hit of the night.
I'm guessing there's not been many nights where he's got more than 1 infield hit in a night. He's not a real speed guy. I mean, he's not just a big oaf, but he's not a speedy guy. So 2 infield hits in 1 night, he's got to feel pretty good about things.
Yeah.
Especially with some of those swings he's taken.
That is 6 hits for the Cardinals. They've all been singles. Mark DeRosa has struck out and grounded out. Both times he's worked the count full. Dirt. J.R. Tolles snags it for ball 1. Phillies lead at Florida 6-4 in the 8th. Now they're in a rain delay. Phillies' magic number for clinching is 5, so the Astros face another possible clincher against them unless the Phillies take care of business before the Astros arrive at Citizens Bank Park for Monday night's opener. It's 1-1. One ball and 2 strikes.
Maybe they would tie a major league record for clinching games witnessed or something to that effect.
Maybe so, but that's nothing the Astros want to be a part of. Especially, it's a big deal at home. It's a bigger deal than having a team clinch against you if you're the road team. Tejada to his right, and Matsui turns it perfectly for a 6-4-3 double play, the second of the game for the Astros, who lead it 1-0 in the middle of the 6th. Tonight's Jack in the Box standings will show you the Astros single season hits leaders. Craig Biggio has the club record of 210 and 98. Derek Bell made it to 198. Then it's Enos Cabell, Lance Berkman, and Craig Biggio. Miguel Tejada now has 280. There's a fly ball, right center field, hit well. Ludwig running. That bangs off the wall on one hop. Tejada has another double. Number 44 to take over the National League lead.
When he gets hot, boy, the hits come in bunches. Possible that he could reach 200 hits. Doesn't seem likely.
Doesn't seem likely, but it's possible.
It's at 180, 181, 19 hits on 11 games.
Yeah. 44 two-base hits for Miguel Tejada. Could he reach 50 doubles? It's a seldom reach figure. Lance Berkman is 0 for 2. How's it back, strike one, and the Astros leading 1-0 here have a golden opportunity with that leadoff double in the home 6th inning to try to further their lead with Carlos Lee on deck and then Jeff Blum. So Berkman charged with a good at bat here against Smoltz to try to further the Bud Norris working room in this game. Smoltz missing just in. Lance really has a good view of that pitch as a left-handed batter. Takes a lot of close pitches and they try to crowd him. Jason Mott's warming up for the Redbirds. Rasmussen right center. Smoltz once again coming inside. 2-1. Cardinals are giving Lance plenty of room on the left side of the infield. Lugo up the middle. Bunch him on the pull side. Out in the right center field, Rasmus with Tejada tagging, has it. Tejada going to third. The throw coming in a little bit late. Accurate throw, but Berkman advances Tejada. 1 out.
Rasmus retreating into right center to catch this ball. Doesn't have a lot of momentum coming forward as he makes that throw. Good base running by Tejada. Tag and head on over to third base.
Now the Cardinals play the infield back with Carlos Lee. Now Molina's walking out. Here comes Dave Duncan, the pitching coach. This would seem to be the key point in this game, at least up until now. 1-0 lead, very difficult against a club like the Cardinals, but 2-0, quite a difference. Smoltz shaking his head as Duncan says something. Tonight's Geico quote comes from Astros interim manager Dave Clark on why he doesn't want the Cards to clinch here in Houston. One of the reasons why I'm playing the guys I'm playing. We're not going to make it easy for anyone. Really and truly, that would be embarrassing to the game. Now the infielders have moved in halfway. An important at bat here for Carlos Lee. Now they run in. It looks at ball one.
They're going to try to get Carlos to chase something out of the zone here, I think. And if you end up walking him, play for the double play.
(2-0). Even though his percentage of getting that runner home from third with less than 2 outs, not very good. Smoltz is not giving him anything yet with 81 pitches thrown by John. That's the respect that a solid RBI man like Carlos generates.
That's an RBI man getting a little greedy there on 2-0. Coming out of his game a little bit, but you know, he'll take a shot sometimes when the hitters count like that. Give himself one chance to try to do some damage and then get back into a more cautious approach.
Now 3-1, and if Smoltz does walk him, the Cardinals have a double play possibility to get out of the inning with Jeff Blum coming up. flick foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
And this is interesting because it's quite obvious what the Cardinals are trying to do here. But Carlos, instead of taking the walk, has gone out of the zone twice now to try to drive that run in. Now, if you're Smoltz, you come off your game plan a little bit, think I'm 1 pitch away from getting him out.
Yep. You might adjust that thinking. Fastball high. Holiday ready for a throw to the plate. Here's a tag by Tejada. Holiday fires one in. And Tejada scores to make it 2-0 as Lee gets RBI number 97. Very big run in this game.
Very interesting confrontation as the mandate was clearly to pitch around Carlos. But Carlos just kept swinging. He went after 2 pitches out of the zone, and now you get into a situation where, well, if I get him to chase a high fastball, maybe I could punch him out. But they didn't get it high enough. Carlos able to get to it and get enough of it, just enough of it, to hit that fly ball to left.
Jeff Blum bets. He's 0 for 2. Taking strike 1 from Smoltz. Smoltz is due up 3rd. The Cardinals 7th. He's thrown 86 pitches. It's 1-1. Smoltz in his last start gave up 2 runs in 6 innings. He had 5 scoreless after a 2-run first. Mott walking around. He should be ready by now, it appears. Rolled out to second. Schumacher gets it to Pujols to end the Astros 6th. So they get a leadoff double, fly ball, and extend their lead to 2-0. Now for our Dodge Grab Live feature tonight, Brian Moeller tells us about his favorite movie.
Favorite movie would be Shawshank Redemption. I love the fact that this guy just was in jail for no reason and decided to beat the system and fight his way out and made it.
Brian Moeller, he's up Friday night against Cincinnati. Now it's Jeff Fulcino taking over after Bud Norris went the first 6, allowing 6 hits, no runs. Walker 2, batting 3, throwing 99 pitches. Fulcino's 6-4, JD.
It was not a masterful performance by Bud Norris tonight, but it was a gritty one. He hung in there, scoreless baseball. Obviously, you'll take that. Base runners in every inning but one. The command was so-so, but certainly good enough. And that's 2 starts against this Cardinal club and no runs.
Yeah. Total of 13 shutout innings for Bud against St. Louis this year. Fly ball, right field line. Hunter Pence coming over. Now over toward the seats, and it's back out of play.
I guess it figures that Bud would be good against the Cardinals.
No balls, 2 strikes as they clutch the souvenir. And the white shirt has a hold on it. Fulchino last pitched Saturday in Milwaukee with a scoreless inning there. Astros lost that game 7-2. Gave up a 2-run single to Casey McGee coming into the bases loaded. So no runs charged to him. And he gets Molina on strikes. Fulchino pitched 4 times last week.
And Molina out in front of that. A slider. Not a real crisp breaking pitch either, but effective.
He had reported some tenderness a few days ago and was given some extra days of rest. Julio Lugo 0 for 2.
That's a better one.
Strike to Lugo. Pitcher spot due up next. Rick Ankiel is in the on-deck circle. Jason Mott has been warming up in the Cardinal bullpen. Fulchino has pitched 4 times against the Redbirds. He's not given up an earned run, but he lost a game at St. Louis August 1st on an unearned run. No balls, 2 strikes. Came into a 1-1 game in the 5th inning, worked 3 innings, and that one unearned run did him in for the loss. Nice pitch. Pulls the string, and Lugo strikes out and is thrown out from 2-3.
Jeff Fulchino really got things rolling when he started to implement that split finger pitch a little bit more. Initially, it was with left-handed hitters. Lately, he's been throwing it to righties as well, and it's a swing and miss pitch for him. And I mentioned this before, but as you talk about next year's club and the rotation, Fulchino looks to me like a guy you could possibly give an opportunity to move into the rotation. 3 pretty good pitches. Fastball, slider, and that good splitter.
Rick Ankiel moves away from ball 1. He's pinch hitting here for John Smoltz. 6 for 19 as a pinch hitter with 2 bombs. Ankiel's hitting .236 overall this season.
You know, with Hervasio coming up pitching as well as he has, and Arias, what he's shown so far this year, it gives you some freedom to play around a little bit with some of these other guys. Wesley Wright's going to go to winter ball and work on his changeup with an eye towards competing for a rotation spot next year.
That pitch is in for strike 1. And let's go to Patty with Greg.
Well, with John Smoltz out of the game, he is not out of the Twitter conversation. Of course, he was Greg Lucas's question in the pregame. Will John Smoltz be a surefire Hall of Famer? What are your updates here on Twitter?
What I've learned from this is we need harder questions because everybody says yes. Everybody says yes.
No controversy.
No controversy whatsoever. And the way he pitched tonight, why not?
Well, I think maybe we had something. We maybe rocked the vote a little bit. We gave him our vote, and I think everybody just followed suit.
I figured we knew what we were talking about, so that was good enough.
That's a big mistake.
Yeah, we have that kind of power here, guys, and we're not afraid to use it.
Well, Patty, our next question for Friday night will be, do you believe in world peace?
Well, being the former homecoming queen and, you know, that I am, I could answer that.
And you got the Iraq.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, if there's not a score involved, I can't answer the question. So.
Strikeout for Fulchino. He strikes out the side here in the 7th inning. Do you believe in strikeouts? And it's 2-0 Astros. Blake Hawksworth has come out of the Cardinal bullpen to take over for the last of the 7th inning. John Smoltz in 6 innings allowed 5 hits, 2 runs with no walks. He struck out 5.
Solid effort from John Smoltz tonight. Most nights that's good enough to win. Tonight, that obviously will not be the case. Hawksworth out of the bullpen for the Cardinals has been good for them, especially lately. He's got wins in 3 of his last 5 appearances, 4-0, 2.31 ERA overall.
Hunter Pence is ready, and he takes ball 1 from Hawksworth on the fastball. Matsui and Tolles to follow. Hawksworth hits the edge there, and it's a 1-1 count for Blake. The Astros have seen him twice. He's pitched scoreless ball both times. 2-0. This is his first outing at Minute Maid Park. He was a 28th round draft choice in 01 of the Redbirds from North Vancouver, British Columbia. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Throws the ball well, JD.
Nice easy delivery. Ball comes out of his hand nicely. It's not posted big strikeout numbers. Pretty good movement on his fastball there. That's a ground ball pitch. Just missed the corner.
3-2. Hawksworth came up in June. And he has a leadoff walk here. Hunter Pence is on for Kazuo Matsui now. That's the first walk for Cardinal pitchers tonight. It's the Coors Light 7th inning. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Showing you a ground ball by Schumacher up the middle. Matsui coming in, making an excellent play to get him in the 5th inning. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Astros have turned 2 double plays tonight for Bud Norris, who's in a position to be a winner for the 6th time this year. Kazuo Matsui scored run number 1. He took a double to left field off John Smoltz and then came around on a hit by Tejada. In the 4th inning, he hit a fly ball to left. Gross is in tight at 3rd. Hugo and Schumacher set up a double play depth. Jeff Keppinger's on deck. The catcher Tolles due up next.
2-0 lead as the Astros bat here in the bottom of the 7th. Sacrifice situation. Rosa well in at 3rd base, anticipating a bunt.
It's LaTroy Hawkins in the Houston bullpen. Cardinals are warming up a lefty. Looks like Dennis Reyes. Matsui showing bunt. Making ball 1. Astros trying to snap a 9-game losing streak. Get their first win for their new skipper, Dave Clark. Cardinals have the top of the order due up in the 8th. Hunter draws a throw from Hawksworth. Hawksworth pitched at Memphis last season. Had an ERA of 6.09. Bunted. Hawksworth over and tosses to Pujols, who makes the tag on Matsui. Hunter Pence getting over to second base, out number 1.
Well, that bunt not far from being a base hit either. It's out beyond Hawksworth just a little bit, and he's got himself a knock. As it is a close play, it's a glove flip to Pujols. Albert not on the bag, has to apply the tag.
Our Stay in the Game hold of the day is brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Showing you the Marlins with 86 holds. Then it's the Padres, Brewers. The Astros, Reds, and Phillies are tied for 4th. Just as these middle relievers keep their team in the game, you can too with Just for Men Hair Color. Jeff Keppinger's the pinch hitter now for J.R. Tolles, who was 0 for 2. He takes ball 1 on the Hawksworth slider. Keppinger 5 for 11 as a pinch hitter with 1 RBI. He's hitting .259 overall for 282 at bats this season. Keppinger looks at that one. Jeff started last night at second base and went 0 for 4. It's now 3-2 Milwaukee leading Chicago in the last of the 7th at Milwaukee. 2 balls, 1 strike to Keppinger.
There's a rain delay in Florida. Imagine that. Nightly occurrence. 6-4. Phillies lead the Fish. They're in the 8th.
Three balls and a strike. Darren Erstad is on deck. The pitcher's spot is due up next. Jeff Fulcino would get a hold for his excellent work in the top of the inning, striking out 3. Phillies lead Atlanta by 7.5 and Florida by 8 coming into play tonight. To the right side. Pujols to the bag to take the throw from Schumacher. Pence to third on out number 2. 38,732 the paid attendance. Now it's Darren Erstad pinch hitting for Jeff Fulcino. 1 inning, allowed no hits, no runs with no walks, 3 strikeouts. Erstad battling his way back from a series of injuries. Comes in at 198, 2 homers, 11 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, he's 11 for 54, including a home run. That's strike 1 to Darren.
Is that Trevor Miller in the Cardinal pen or Reyes?
Reyes.
I know there's a lefty out there up and ready. Tony La Russa opting to stay with Hawksworth here.
Good pitch for Hawksworth. Oh, into.
Tony probably figures, well, if I go bring my lefty in, Clarkie may counter with Jason Michaels, another right-handed bat off that bench. Well, we'll just stick with this.
271 from lefty hitters against Blake. And he gets a strikeout to end the Astros 7th. No runs, no hits, and a runner stranded at third base. 2-0 Houston through 7.
I'm ready. And welcome back to Minute Maid Park. Astros up by 2. Time now for our progressive fan of the game. And tonight it is fans of the game. This entire section convinced me that they are the best Astros fans. And I'm going to start with these guys here. Guys, why are you the greatest fans?
Well, we love the Astros and we're out here to support them out tonight. You know, we come to every game. We're big baseball fans and we just want to say, go Astros!
Not to be outdone up here by this row.
I will come out to every game that I can, and when I can, I'm at home watching TV or listening to it on the radio.
And Mr. Colt 45 back here got a little history, and what else?
I've been a fan since the old days, and Go Astros. We can do this.
And what else? What else did you tell him?
And I also have Progressive, best insurance company in the world.
He actually has Progressive. There are our Progressive fans of the game, guys.
And he's not lying either, Patty.
He's not. He flat out is not. He tracked me down and says, hey, I actually have Progressive.
Thanks, Patty. Humberto Quintero is the new catcher. LaTroy Hawkins, the new pitcher. The 8th inning opens with the Astros up 2-0. LaTroy Hawkins in the game now, facing Skip Schumacher, who's 0 for 2 with a walk.
Well, they got Hawksworth. We got Hawkins. We can out-Hawk the Redbirds here. Fulchino can't do much better than that. My goodness. 3 down, 12 pitches, 3 punch-outs.
Hawkins in his familiar 8th inning role throws strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes for the Hawk.
Troy having a solid year, 1-4, 2.28 ERA. Nothing cooking in the Astros bullpen right now.
Hawk worked 1 hitless inning Monday night against the Redbirds.
This could be the inning here with the top of the order. So it's Schumacher, Rasmus, and then Pujols. Really nice to face Albert with nobody on base.
Hawkins has pitched 5 times against the Cardinals with an ERA of 2.08 this season. It's 2-2. Hawk got a hold in a 3-2 Houston win here against St. Louis, and that July sweep by the Astros with a scoreless frame. Got a double play ball on Yadier Molina. Schumacher backs away. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. A very durable setup guy throughout most of his career. Former starting pitcher. He's battled through that case of the shingles back in July. So that was really a painful situation for him. Should be in play here for Jeff Blum over in foul territory. And that's out number 1.
Final game of the 2009 season here at Minute Maid Park is Sunday at 1:05. First 10,000 fans take home a 2019 poster courtesy of Academy Sports and Outdoors. Sunday also Fan Appreciation Day. Great prizes given away every inning. So a lot of stuff going on in that final opportunity to see the Astros at home in 2009. For tickets or a list of prizes, how about Astros.com?
1 out. Colby Rasmus is 0 for 3. Albert Pujols on deck. That's incentive to get Rasmus.
Good start. 94 mile an hour Swifty. The Hawks been a lot better against left-handed hitters than righties this year. Left-handers hitting just 200 against him. Righties 294. 6 of the 7 home runs he's allowed have come to right-handed batters.
No balls, 2 strikes. Rasmus unable to catch up with high heat there. Russ Springer and Tampa Bay beat Seattle 5-4. It's 1-2. The Astros have Bourn, Tejada, and Berkman due to that in the bottom of the inning. Still 3-2. Milwaukee leading the Cubs after 7 at Milwaukee. Broken bat. It goes out to Tejada's right. He bare hands throws and safe at first. Tejada broke to his left. He might have picked up the side of that flying broken bat. And then he came back to his right.
Well, solidly hit and tips off the glove of Hawkins, changes direction. A nice play by Tejada to come back and handle it. There's no way you're going to get Rasmus with all that going on. So much for facing Albert with the bases empty.
Yeah.
Game time right here.
Well, Hawkins did get a glove on it.
Verdi's starting to warm up in the Astros pen, but nowhere near ready for this confrontation. It's on Hawk.
And it's Pujols, 4 for 8 with a homer against Hawk. Strike one to Albert. He singled to right in the third inning. Fly ball, Carlos Lee out into left center field for the grab. 2 outs. Our Ford game summary will get you caught up if you're just joining us. 2-0 Astros. Tejada 2 for 3, leads the league with 44 doubles. He got number 44 in the 6th inning and scored run number 2 on a Carlos Lee sacrifice fly. Earlier he drove in the first run with a single in the 3rd inning. Bud Norris has 13 shutout innings against the Cardinals this year. And Jeff Fulchino struck out the side in the 7th. Now Matt Holliday, he's 1 for 3. 7 hits for the Cardinals, 5 for the Astros. All the Cardinal hits have been singles.
Holliday's been such a difference maker for the Cardinals, and really is a difference maker in your mindset. You know, it used to be you get Albert in a situation like that, you kind of take a deep breath and go, okay, crisis averted. But Matt Holliday, very, very dangerous in his own right.
He looks at a strike from Hawk to even the count at 1-1. The Astros have a very good 8th and 9th inning punch when they have the lead. And they lead after 7 innings. Their record's 59-3. That's a .952 winning percentage. That's second in the majors. Grounded. Jeff Blum gets in front of it, throws to second. Matsui just in time to get a sliding Rasmus on a close play to end the top of the 8th inning. No runs ahead, a runner left. The Astros lead the Cardinals 2-0. With the AT&T Rapid Rewind. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. It's a 2-0 game. Dennis Reyes is pitcher number 3 for the Cardinals. He's 0-2 with a 3.05 ERA.
He's been a busy man this year. 71st time he has trotted out to the hill. Fernando Valenzuela lookalike. 32 years of age. Seems like he should be older. He's been on the scene for a long time. Broke in back in 1997 with the Dodgers. Just a kid back then.
Michael Bourn has a 1-1 count. Michael 0 for 3. Tejada and Berkman to follow. Bourne's at 298 against lefties. He has signed a 2-year contract with the Cardinals. 1-2. Last year he pitched 75 times for the Minnesota Twins. This is his 4th outing this year against the Astros. He's not allowed to run against them.
And Trevor Miller, a couple of lefties out there that they use as lefty specialists. 70 appearances for Reyes this year, but just 38 innings of work. Come in, get a batter, take it to the house. Bottom of the 8th, Brewers lead the Cubs now 3-2.
Bourne looks at one in the dirt, and it's a full count to Michael. Ryan Franklin's warming up, the Cardinal closer. Cardinals have Ludwig, DeRosa, Molina due up in the 9th. Bourne draws a leadoff walk as the Astros try to build on their 2-0 lead. It's Tejada next.
Well, be sure to visit the official online shop of the Astros at Astros.com. Browse the largest online selection of authentic team gear, including official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. Get your team gear straight from the source. Shop the Astros.com shop, guys.
Thanks, Patty. They're doing a bustling business in there. Tony La Russa is headed out for the hill, and he's had Franklin warming up. Leadoff walk from the lefty Reyes, who did not get lefty hitting Michael Bourn, so he's out of the game, and it's 2-0 Houston. Back in a moment. Mercedes-Benz E-Class, attention, assist of the game came from Matt Holliday batting in the 6th inning. Little roller up to shortstop, barehanded by Tejada, throws on the run and gets Holliday with a sparkling 6th inning play.
That's a pretty solid play from the infield for the Astros tonight. One made that nice play in the last inning. Matsui made that play on Schumacher.
Now Tony La Russa after the leadoff walk to Bourn. Brings in his closer, Ryan Franklin, trailing 2-0 in the home 8th inning with those numbers.
Well, Franklin has had a very good year, an all-star year, as a matter of fact. 37 saves in 42 tries, but 3 of those 5 blown saves coming in his last 5 appearances. He's hit a bit of a wall here in the month of September. His ERA 9.95 in September. Tony La Russa just trying to get him straightened out. He hasn't pitched in 4 days.
Yeah, and they have an off day tomorrow. Tejada, who has grounded into more double plays than any other National League batter, has had a big night tonight. An RBI single, a double, and a run scored.
Now this is where having a weapon like Molina behind the plate really pays off for the Cardinals, because Michael Bourn looking to steal a base, and if it's any other catcher, he'd really like his chances. But Molina, one of the best in the business back there, tough to run on. Franklin fairly quick to home plate as well.
The Astros handed Franklin a blown save here in Houston, July 22nd. Upstairs for ball 1. Tejada had the game-winning hit off him on that occasion. Since then, he has 3 saves against Houston in 3 tries. Bourn was headed back to first base. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Mickey taking all the way there. Looked like maybe he was thinking Michael might try to steal a base. It's a situation where you might be tempted to start the base runner and give Mickey the freedom to swing away. Nothing else to stay out of the double play.
One and 2 to Tejada. Berkman will be next, then Carlos Lee. Franklin blowing his last 3 save opportunities. That snapped a string of 13 straight that he converted.
Might be time to shave the lucky beard.
Tejada fouls it. Still a 1 and 2 count. Franklin, formerly a starting pitcher, now 36 years old. He's from Fort Smith, Arkansas. In 03 and 04, he had 32 starts both of those years for the Mariners, or 200 innings, both of those. And he almost hit Tejada with that one.
Franklin does not have the dominant stuff that a lot of elite closers have. He has to pitch, as opposed to just relying on his power stuff to throw it by you. He has to move the ball around and change speeds, and he's certainly capable of doing it, and has done it very successfully this year.
Quick throw at first. Bourn had to dive back in. Pujols looking around at the first base umpire, Rick Reed. Body language indicates he thought they had him. He may be right.
Yeah, very, very close. He may be right. But then again, he may be wrong.
Michael seemed to be leaning a little bit towards second that time. Now he goes. And it's fouled. So 2 and 2 for Tejada. Last year, Franklin had 17 saves and 25 opportunities. And this year, he's really seized that role. And the Cardinals don't agree that the setup part of the team is a weakness. They think that their setup pitchers have been fine in the last month or so. They're like Kyle McClellan's stuff. Jason Mott is throwing the ball well, they say. They've got Miller and Reyes from the left side. Tejada's down on strikes. 1 out. Stay tuned after the game for the Astros live postgame show. It's brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center. Patty Smith and Allison Footer will have all the highlights and analysis. Stay tuned for the Divas.
Like Dave Clark was just telling Al Padricchia, let's throw a stop sign up here on Michael Bourn and let Berkman swing. Not worrying about anybody on the move. You got Pujols holding him on, creates a little opening there on the right side.
Berkman 0 for 3.
Well, not as much as you would normally have because of the Berkman shift. Schumacher, normally a double play depth, would be pinching toward the bag, but he's pretty much playing at standard second base, maybe a step towards the line, and Lugo over behind the bag.
Berkman homered off Franklin a year ago in St. Louis in May. Looks at that one for strike one. Carlos Lee on deck. Another quick move over to first. His feet are really fast.
There's been one stolen base with Ryan Franklin on the mound this year. 1 for 1.
Molina's thrown out 33% of those, trying to steal.
There we go.
They didn't catch it, so Bourn will trot to second base now. That might be a pass ball. Couldn't tell if it bounced or not. He tried to backhand it, sliding on his knees.
He's starting to raise up, and then he has to slide across the other way. Certainly a ball he should have handled.
Ruled a wild pitch.
I'd have to disagree with that one.
Okay. Now they put Berkman on with first base open for Carlos Lee. Set up a double play with one out.
And talking about the Franklin just one stolen base in one try. One, he's quick. Two, Molina catching, very difficult to run on. Three clubs, when Franklin pitches, it's normally, closing out games when Cardinals have a lead. Most teams get very conservative, not willing to try to steal bases in those situations. I think to a fault. I think teams should be a little more daring at the end of games like that when you're down.
Right.
Because against the best closers, it's tough to string hits together.
Sure is. Well, the batting average against Franklin is .212. So it is. It's difficult to put those hits together and come from behind.
You don't see it very often. You don't see teams down in the final inning trying to steal bases.
Now the Cardinals' magic number has dropped to 1. Chicago losing at Milwaukee 3-2. They have now clinched at least a tie. Chris Narveson won that game, beating Jeff Samardzija. Trevor Hoffman got his 35th save. Carlos Lee looks at strike one. He has a single and a sac fly. Atlanta down the Mets in New York 5-2. Lee 8 for 32 against Franklin. Tim Hudson got that victory for the Braves, beating Mike Pelfrey. Rafael Soriano picking up save number 26. Lee up the right field line, fouls it. No balls, 2 strikes to Carlos.
Just a little bit behind that fastball.
Alberti working in the bullpen for Houston. Franklin trying to hold the score at 2-0 Houston. Carlos behind second base, lifts it in front of the center fielder Rasmus. Bourn coming home, and it's 3-0 as Lee drives in his second of the night and 98th of the year. On an 0-2 pitch, he just looped it over second base.
The man knows how to drive in runs. Went out of the strike zone 3 times in his last at bat. Before finally hitting a high fastball to left field for a sac fly. This time it's a breaking ball down around his shoe tops that he serves into shallow center to get one home.
Bourn scores his 92nd run. Now Jeff Blum 0 for 3. The run is charged to Reyes. Strike one to Blummer. Hunter Pence is on deck. It's 0-2. Phillies in Florida have played 8 now, resuming after a rain delay. Philadelphia leads 6-5. Cincinnati 12, Pittsburgh 2. A win for Homer Bailey, a loss for Kevin Hart. Blum strikes out. 2 outs.
Well, I kind of wanted to see Homer Bailey pitch. I'm sorry we're going to miss him. He's been awfully good since coming back to the big leagues.
Really has. Hunter Pence is a batter. It'll be Matt Maloney, a lefty, Justin Lear, and Johnny Cueto for the Reds this weekend. Brian Mola, Felipe Molina, Wandy Rodriguez for the Astros. Pence 3 for 9, including a long ball off Ryan. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. And there's strike one. Jason Mott is warming up again for the Redbirds. Jose Valverde for the Astros. Toronto down Baltimore 7-3 in Toronto. A win for Scott Richmond. A loss for Jeremy Guthrie. It's a 1-1 count. It's Boston 6, Kansas City 2. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Kansas City. San Diego 6, Colorado 2, bottom of the 5th at Colorado. One and 2 now. Yankees beat the Angels today 3-2. A.J. Burnett winning his 12th. And Mariano Rivera getting his 42nd save, beating Scott Kazmir.
First series win for the Yankees in Anaheim since 2004.
They've been meeting each other in the second round of the playoffs. It's 2-2. The Yankees looking good for home field advantage right now in the American League. That's 97 wins for them and 56 losses. The Angels are next best with 90 wins. In the dirt, Molina comes up with it. 3-2, and now with 2 men on and 2 outs, the runners will move on the next one. Berkman leads with Matsui watching.
Hunter struck out his first 2 times up last time, walking a 3-2 pitch, a slider that was out of the zone, where a lot of right-handed pitchers go against Hunter.
Franklin strikes him out, and in the 8th inning, the Astros pick up 1 run on 1 hit. They strand 2. It's 3-0 Houston, going to the 9th. Houston Astros baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Sam Houston. It is 3-0. The Astros lead it. And our extraordinary play of the game is brought to you by Land Rover. Matt Holliday with a ground ball to third. Jeff Blum with a forced play at second. Just in time as Matsui takes that throw and gets the force out. Rasmus forced on the play. Now here with a crowd of 38,732 buying tickets for this one. It is Jason Michaels in left field with Carlos Lee. It is Jose Valverde on the mound with a 3-0 lead. Save situation for Valverde.
Well, Jose has got 23 saves this year, 27 tries, 2.16 the ERA. They're going to nail it down for Dave Clark's first win as a major league manager.
Jose has not had a save since the 12th of this month and just hasn't had opportunities with the Astros losing 9 straight. Ryan Ludwig is 2 for 3. Ball 1. Valverde did come in for work last night in the 11-2 loss and gave up 2 hits and a run in the 9th inning. Gave up a triple, a double. Ludwig is 1 for 7 in his career against Valverde. Valverde had a scoreless inning streak of 17 innings, covering 15 outings until he gave up a run Saturday in Milwaukee. It's 2-0. With Mark DeRosa on deck. Yadier Molina to bat third in the inning. Valverde has 2 wins and 2 saves against St. Louis this season. He's pitched 7 times against the Redbirds this year. Falls behind here. 3 balls, no strikes. Ludwig.
Well, 3-run lead. He's got a little wiggle room. Needs to open the door here for the Cardinals. Hoping that fastball over the heart of the plate and see what happens. Hawkins getting Pujols with a man aboard in the 8th. Just a big out so far in this game. Just a little pitch and catch with Q here.
4-pitch walk. Ludwig is aboard. Q going out, and Mark DeRosa's headed into the box. Walk number 3 for Astros pitchers tonight. Robinson may have seen something with his arm angle. Troy Hawkins was talking before the game tonight about how much of an impact that Valverde injury had on the Astros early in the season. A calf injury, and that cost him 5 weeks of the season and really changed things in the bullpen. Hawkins moving in to the closer's spot. The Astros really didn't abuse him in that sense because they weren't winning all that many games, but it just had a chain reaction. DeRosa's 0 for 3. Mark 3 for 11 in his career. There's an adjustment. Strike 1 off a Grande. He is headed toward free agency. The Astros have said they would like to re-sign both Valverde and Hawkins. Little tap to third, goes foul.
I guess the big question is, how much money are you willing to commit and how many years for a closer? There's always teams in the market, and Valverde probably be looking at a 3-year deal.
He's 30.
And I'm guessing they'll be looking for $30 million or something like that.
About the going rate. All back and out of play.
Now, if you could, not my money. So. easy to talk and throw it around, but I'm real hesitant to throw that kind of money at a relief pitcher.
Well, the Cardinals, for instance, are making good use of their budget in the closer position. Ryan Franklin, not highly paid for that job. They've been innovative. Sometimes if a club forces itself to be innovative, it can happen. Save some money that way. Strike three. DeRosa caught looking, one out. And he looks back over at Mark Wegner.
If I'm going to spend that kind of money, I want to spend it on a guy who's going to give me 200 plus innings.
Right. Now with one out, it's Molina. Molina 2 for 3 in this game. Lugo's in the on deck circle. Yadier has a couple of career hits against Valverde, but that does really affect the budget of a team. Paying a closer that much, unless it's a high dollar budget like the Yankees and Boston, some of those teams have. There's ball one. The Yankees have really struck gold with Mariano Rivera being so healthy for what they've paid him over the years. Been a terrific closer, one of the best of all time. But sometimes if the guy who works the ninth inning goes down, then maybe the setup guy struggles to move into that role.
Yeah, and I don't want to diminish, what these guys do, but take a look at the Philadelphia Phillies, given the struggles of Brad Lidge and where they are in the standings.
Yeah. They've managed pretty well.
Yeah.
1-1.
A 7.5 game lead. Brad's got an ERA in the 7s, and he's blown 10 or 11 saves this year.
The Cardinals would appear to be equipped to go deep into the postseason, but that everything starts all over again. So who knows?
Yeah, I think all the playoff teams are equipped to go deep into the postseason. It becomes a crapshoot in a short series.
1-2.
I like their starting pitching, boy. I like Wainwright, and Carpenter, and Pinheiro, and now what we've seen of John Smoltz. Probably don't need 4 in the first round. Might not need 4 at all.
True. It becomes one of those optional things for a manager. And sometimes, if a manager really had a strong feeling that his club was going to make it to the World Series and win the World Series, and he knew for a fact, which nobody's ever going to know, and he might choose to go with 4 starters and keep the big 2 rested, but most managers tend to think about 3. Foul away, still 1-2 to Molina.
Molina hits that fastball away the other way quite well. Get in on him, probably jam him and get a weak ground ball.
Valverde had 44 saves last year to tie the Astros club record. Top to third. Blum comes in, makes the throw on the run to Berkman and retires Molina. 2 outs, runner at second. Our Texaco star performer of the game comes your way right now, and it's Bud Norris.
6 shutout innings from Bud tonight. Allowed 6 hits, walked a couple, struck out 3. That's 2 starts against the Cardinals. 13 shutout innings, but not as impressive this time as in that start in St. Louis. But who's going to quibble? A rookie pitcher giving you 6 shutout as the team's in your ballpark trying to clinch a division championship. Pretty gutty performance.
Yeah, against John Smoltz. That's the best postseason record of all time. That is a night for Bud Norris. Now it's Lugo, 0 for 3. He fouled away, strike 1. A difficult night for the hitters against Smoltz. The Astros scratched out a run in the 3rd. Double by Matsui, bunt single by Norris, 2 out, 2 strike RBI single by Tejada, and then they moved the runner around when Tejada opened the 6th inning with a double. Berkman with a fly ball, got into third. Lee with a fly ball scored him. And Lee had a RBI single in the 8th. Right on the split finger. And Lee goes behind in the count, 0-2.
Jose with the power moonwalk after that pitch.
Fans have enjoyed the show tonight. Norris, Fulcino, Hawkins, Valverde trying to collaborate on a shutout. It would be the 10th of the year for the Astros if they get it. And they get it. Not in our house, the Astros say to the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals' magic number drops to 1, but they do not clinch here at Minute Maid Park as the Astros snap their 9-game losing streak, get their first win for interim manager Dave Clark, and it comes on a shutout.